Hello everyone, Trophy Wine Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a review of a 1989 Leoville Las Cases, and this was chosen by viewers and subscribers. It was part of my community poll, and just by I think one vote, this inched out the 1989 Pichon Baron. So I'm really happy to bring you this wine. I'm really excited to drink this wine. I was fortunate enough to go to visit Leoville Las Cases in 2017 and had lunch with Pierre Jean who is the director at Leoville Las Cases. And he has a bit of a reputation among wine critics. He actually will blind taste a lot of wine critics. We were a consumer group and we were told, oh, he knows we're a consumer group. He still blind tasted us. But it was all good fun, and luckily we got the wine right. It was a white Burgundy, and so I think he had confidence, and he rewarded us at the end of lunch for the 1970 Leoville Las Cases. So really enjoyed the person, but you can understand the style of the wine when you meet Pierre. It is a very structured, he's a really serious guy, nice guy, but a really serious guy, serious about his wine. Doesn't joke around, not like a casual type guy, but really nice person, but he's pretty serious about what he does. Let's talk a little bit about the history of Leoville Las Cases. It is a second growth wine in the 1855 classification system from Saint Julien. Let's go back to 1638 when Jean de Lascases, who is a member of the Bordeaux Parliament, owned the larger vineyard. And then through marriage, the estate ended up in the Gascq family. And why I'm telling you is because that's Alexandre de Gascq was the person that renamed this bigger winery Mont-Moytie Leoville or Lionville, and that's where the Leoville Las Cases comes from. So then we can jump ahead to the French Revolution. Well, of course, once the French Revolution happened, everyone lost their properties. It was kind of divided up in 1840. When I talked to the Pierre at the winery, he said actually it was divided up in 1826 through argument, and it was actually divided into three. So this huge kind of winery, Leoville, was divided into three, which is now known as Leoville Las Cases, Leoville Barton, and Leoville Poyferre. So he told me that basically the best plots near Chateau Latour went to Leoville Las Cases. And in his mind, in talking to him, if historically that this had all been kept together, he has no doubt in his mind it would be a first growth. At that time, when it was divided, it was Leoville, the chateau, this vineyard for Leoville was about 100 acres, about 55 was given to Leoville Las Cases. I think 25 was given to Leoville Barton, and then 20 to Leoville Poyferre. And then subsequently they added another 45 acres, but that's used for Clos de Marquis. So Clos de Marquis is actually a separate winery. It's not, despite a lot of people think, it's actually not the second wine of Leoville Las Cases. It's a separate wine. In fact, it has its own second wine right now. The second wine of Leoville Las Cases. At the end of the 19th century, it was purchased by a person called Theophile Skawinski, and then he then passed on the estate to Andre Delon, and then it has now been in the Delon family since then. So it's a pretty big estate. It's about 98 hectares, and it's planted 67% Cabernet Sauvignon, 23% Merlot, and 10% Cabernet Franc. And it is very close to Chateau Latour. So it's kind of a blend between Pauillac wines and Saint Julien wines. In fact, it's more towards Pauillac wine, and that's why you see the power of that wine. And it does distinguish itself a little bit from other Saint Julien wines in terms of the power. A couple of more notes from my talk with Pierre at lunch. So the kind of style of Leoville Las Cases, which I really didn't know before drinking it, was it's actually known as the Burgundy of Bordeaux. And it actually focuses on acidity and tannins. And I think that's surprising for most people because we associate Leoville Las Cases with power. And I think it's because most people drink Leoville Las Cases young and they don't have the opportunity to drink 1989, which is 30 years. And that as you'll see through my tasting, I think it's really important to drink older vintages to kind of get the character of the wine. And if your experience is only with young wines, you only actually understand a portion of that wine's characteristic, in my humble opinion. So here is the cork of the wine, and if you'll see, I'm trying to close up on this, but you'll see it says reconditioned in the Chateau in 2016. And likewise, you'll see on the bottle, so this is the 89 Leoville Las Cases, but you'll see on the back it actually says, Leoville Las Cases aged this wine for you in the cellars from harvest and shipped in 2017. It was recorked in the Chateau. So this is a really good bottle. You can see, look at the sediment that it laid down. And I didn't even decant. I just had this straight from the bottle. So that's how much sediment it comes. Look at the beautiful color. There's slight aging, but that's definitely not brown. There's lots of life in this wine left. So this bottle of the 1989 is a blend of 60% Cabernet Sauvignon, 25% Merlot, and 12% Cabernet Franc, and 3% Petit Verdot. So Petit Verdot is kind of neat because it actually doesn't appear in the Grand Vin after 1996. And this bottle is quite special too. I bought it from my good friends at HDH Retail. It's ex-Chateau. So it was recorked, and I'll close up on the bottle and actually on the cork. It was actually aged at the winery and then recorked in, I think, 2016 and then released in 2017. I think there were about 5,000 bottles that remained in the Chateau, and they were hand inspected. Every bottle was hand inspected by at least 5 people, and then the wine was topped up from magnums of 1989 to assure that it was fresh. So I'll let you know, I had this for dinner last night with just steak, and it was beautiful. It's wonderful to taste Leoville Las Cases. I'm the person that doesn't really like very bold wines, and I find Leoville Las Cases in its youth quite bold. But it's wonderful to taste it when the tannins are much less or decreased, so I can get the real character of the wine. And when you do that with the 90 and the 89, you actually get why they call it the Burgundy of Bordeaux. It's a exceptionally ethereal wine once the tannins have subsided a bit. And so it's really given me a new understanding of this wine. So I did taste it. I didn't decant it out of the bottle. It was very, very nice. Although I don't like very tannic and bold wines, I love powerful wines. And so this was a nice, balanced, powerful, intense wine. And so I think what I mean when I say I don't like bold wines, I don't like overly tannic or overly powerful wines that are not in balance. I love balanced wines. And as long as the tannin level, acidity level, power, intensity, body are all high, to me that's fine, because that's just a very impactful wine. So it was wonderful when I first tasted it. Let's see what happens. And I've been tasting it throughout the day today. So just continue to enjoy it. So let's try it right now. So on the nose, I smell oak, tobacco, black fruit, leather, tar. Oh my goodness. Again, it's very Pauillac-like. In Saint Julien, to me, is a little bit lighter in style than Pauillac. This is powerful, and this is the high end of power of Saint Julien. And again, I can understand how this could be mistaken for Pauillac, because it's so dark fruit, cassis, in terms of the smell, but just beautiful, beautiful aroma. But then it's got a little bit of aromatic, flowery component to it too, maybe like violets and a little bit of lilies. So that part to me is more Saint Julien. So a little bit of anise also. So that's on the after you kind of feel it. But you don't get this with young Leoville. All you get with young Leoville is lot of power, a lot of tannin, a lot of dark fruit. It takes that long, 30 years, to kind of decrease that. So now it's like 34 years, I think, to make it fleshy in that sense, and to get the underlying characteristics that's hidden by all that power and tannin. On the taste, still lots of fruit, great acidity. The tannins have subsided where I can taste a lot more now. So I get a lot of plums. I get the tobacco, the tea leaves, a little bit of tar, oak, of course. But it's striking because I don't think normally people associate ethereal with Leoville Las Cases. They associate power. But this wine is very much an ethereal wine. And for those, that people talk about super seconds and how long, that's a term that's, I think, thrown around too casually. To be able to kind of get to a close level to first growth, I think Leoville Las Cases is very, very close, because not many wines in this world can, at least Bordeaux wines, can produce the power you see in a young wine like 2015 or even 2000, and then produce also a taste like this in 89, which is soft. So the key to me in terms of first growths, what distinguishes first growths is that their ability to adapt and change. You get so many different feels from a wine. The core, the characteristic is the same, but they adapt. It's not just always powerful. It's not always smooth. It's not always ethereal. It's everything and above in each vintage. And so that really transcends, winemaking. It's hard to describe, but there's certain wines that you say, that to me is first growth quality. And this wine is. Like, there are very, very few wineries, I think, that can produce this type of wine. I'm sorry, even like wines like Ponte Canet, Lynch-Bache, Calansegur, I don't think they can produce this type of wine. It's hard to describe in words, but once you taste it, you'll say, no, you can't. It's very, very, very few wineries can produce this type of wine. First Growths can, Leoville can, and maybe a couple others in good vintages, but lots of them can't. And so when we talk about that difference, it's about drinking experience. It's about the experience. Until you have drank a 30 or 40-year-old Leoville Las Cases and a 30 or 40-year-old other wine that you want to call a super second, I don't think you really can understand what it takes to be a top-end first growth or even a close to first growth wine. That's my personal opinion. I'm going on and on about this wine, but I just think it's wonderful. And to me, it's definitely the best wine I've had in 2023, for sure within top 5 of wines that I've had in the last year and a half, maybe the best wine I've had. And I really hope that people, if you have the means, go and drink an older vintage of Leoville Las Cases, and then you'll understand the magnificence. Because if you take a modern day Leoville Las Cases and you drink this wine and you see the scope of coverage in terms of power, in terms of taste, there are very few wines that can do that and can cover that range of elegance, power, flavors. You'll be simply amazed, and you will understand why this is at the top of the range spectrum of second growth wines. I almost want to give it 100 points, but that to me is very difficult to give out for me, because there are very few wines that I've drank that are at that range. But I'm going to give this 98 points, which is my subscribers will know that I rarely give a 9. I'm not sure if I have given a 98 point before, but this is an exceptional wine. I don't know how to reiterate that more, and I don't know how to communicate that without you actually drinking this wine. But yeah, it will change your view of Leoville Las Cases. If you have the opportunity, it will change your view of Bordeaux. For those people that think Bordeaux is light, it will change your view. For those people that think Bordeaux is kind of dilute or too uppity, no. This wine is just the right balance of classic, sophisticated, and a real pleasure sensor wine for consumers. So I'm really thrilled that I had this wine. I'm really glad that subscribers chose for me to drink this. I hope you've enjoyed this tasting. Until next time, happy drinking.